Amletto. William Canterbury pulled in the rapidly filling car park and applied the handbrake. He breathed deeply for a moment before addressing Danny. "I'm not sure how much of a father I've been to you, Danny," William said. "The best," Danny said, feeling suddenly displaced by the serious tone. "I certainly tried my best," William said. "There are a few things I wanted to say to you. Advice you probably don't need, given your life to date. However, it would be remiss to forego you my dispensing under an illusion you already know certain things." "Okay," Danny said simply, glancing at William and watching the way his broad face reflected in the windshield. "You have always been a quiet lad and refrained from speaking out when perhaps other, louder individuals wouldn't have hesitated. I'm not saying this is a flaw. This is a good trait to have. You have it in spades. But sometimes it is important to speak out. Sometimes the time requires it. You must judge the nature of communication. Written is sometimes better than spoken. Sometimes only face-to-face will do. In short, make sure your thoughts have become fully realized before articulation. To utter half-baked thoughts is to invite trouble." "Okay," Danny said. "You have made friends easily in the past. A little too easily with the fair sex, some might say." Danny smiled. "But you must be constant to those with whom you have firmly connected, with those you have completely understood their nature, who you know would not willingly betray you." Danny looked at his feet. "Oh, yes, Danny, you have chosen well, even with Tim, and experience has made you wary. Pray that you continue to be wary of each new friend, lest they draw you into petty braveries, the kind of which you do not need, especially now." "Especially now?" Danny said curiously. "Yes, especially now, as you enter your final year and are about to graduate into the world of employment." Danny nodded thoughtfully. "You are a good listener, Danny, and the more you listen but withhold your approval, the more credit affords to you." "I have no idea what you mean by that," Danny said, laughing. William returned the laugh. "Make your own mind up is what I'm trying to say. Don't be led too strongly by others. You have a good heart, Danny, thunderous though your will be at times. Follow your heart, your own desires, not those of others." "Okay," Danny said. "Above all, you must remember who you are and not betray that person. Each of us are different, Danny, and sometimes paths converge, sometimes they diverge. But your path always belongs to you and not someone else." Danny thought for a moment. "Of course." "There you are. Go. I have said enough. It is time to unpack." Anna caressed the framed photo of Half Dome as she placed it gently back in the cardboard box alongside her books. The hike to the top had been perilous, but it had cemented her friendship with Hilda and Gretchen, who were now about to attend school in Germany and Canada, just like she was beginning her own university degree at York. Students wheeled belongings on wooden trolleys. Her room was on the second floor, and there were no lifts. She would carry her belongings up 2 flights. Nerves jangled. She went to collect her keys, joining a queue of boys. The trees had started shedding their leaves. The lake curled around the lip of the grass bank, following the contours of the building. Ducks waddled across muddy squares. Parents kissed their offsprings goodbye. Grey clouds threatened rain. Smiles of relief were met with anxious smiles among the students seeing their parents drive off. Posters advertised freshers' drinks in the Wentworth bar that evening. There was much to do before then. The corridor was thin and painted off-white. The navy blue and green doors, wide and unseen from the entrance, led to the students' bedrooms. Anna turned her key in the lock and looked inside. A sad emptiness appeared before her. A blank notice board, an unclaimed bed, and a black-covered desk. For a moment, the terror of the prosaicness of this extra-home existence overcame her. She let it pass, and then her imagination kicked in, covering the walls with posters and photos before her actions could catch up. Drapes and adornments, bed fleeces and CD racks. She would Anna-ize this room before she could say ish-kabibble. Some rustling noise behind her. Fellow corridor inhabitants. "Hello," Anna said, putting on her best beaming smile, as a shortish lad came bounding along the corridor. "Hello, I'm Joe Banks." He shook her hand. "Are you a first year?" Yes, aren't we all?" Anna said, suddenly confused. Joe smiled warmly, putting her at ease. "I think most of us will be. Well, that is apart save from me and my mate. I'm a third year. We're returning to college for our finals." "Oh," Anna said, slightly crestfallen that he was not in the same naive boat she was. "It's nice to meet you," Joe said, as he ventured into his room, giving the door a good kick on his way in. The fluttering in Anna's stomach began again. She had not expected to be sharing with third years, people who knew their way round, who knew what's what. Returning to her room, she arranged her boxes on her bed and set about transforming the room into a home away from home. Janet Chisley pushed back her gold hairband and leant forward into the mirror. A newspaper, the Amberleigh Post, lay on her bed. On the front page, a story about Danny Canterbury. She had read almost 30 times now.